Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I am here to do a book review for you guys, and today I'm going to be reviewing Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, which was the chapter by chapter book club book of the month for the month of March. If you guys are newer to my channel and do not know what chapter by chapter is the book club I run over on Goodreads. The link is always down below for you guys. And this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I will be doing a live show a week from this upcoming Saturday, which is April 7th. And when that goes live, I will have it linked on the screen for you guys as well as down below. That will be obviously discussing more of my spoilery thoughts on this book, but this review itself will be non-spoiler. So, diving into my thoughts on this book, if you guys are not familiar with Children of Blood and Bone, this is a YA West African inspired high fantasy novel that follows our main character Zelly, who lives in a world where magic is practically non-existent. It used to flourish, but now it no longer exists, as one day it seemed to disappear overnight. And right after it disappeared, the king and queen of this kingdom sent their army out to kill all the magic users or magi in the society, including Zelly's mother. 11 years later, Zelly teams up with a rogue princess as well as her brother to bring magic back. And as they are trying to do that, they are on the run from the kingdom, more specifically the crown prince, who happens to be the rogue princess's brother, and takes off from there. This was one of my most highly anticipated releases of this year, and I think it is definitely worth the hype. I actually mentioned this in a couple of wrap-ups before. I had a partial arc of this book back in December, so I got to read the first 6 or so chapters of this, and I was hooked right from the beginning. And I said to myself, after reading those first 6 chapters, like, I need the final book now. Can I please have it? Anybody? Hello? I just wanted to read the entire book right away. And when I finally picked it up at the beginning of this month, I continued to enjoy it as I had a few months previously, but my enjoyment level also went downhill a little bit in certain parts of the book, which I will get into in a second. So, now diving into my thoughts, starting off with the characters. I liked all of the characters we followed in this book. We follow 3 perspectives: Zelly, the rogue princess, and the villain of the story. Starting off with the character of Zelly, I think she was amazing. She was very independent, very headstrong, knew what she wanted, was willing to do anything she could to get what she wanted, and I just loved her character development as the story went on. And then we have Amani, who is the rogue princess, who I also love. She reminded me a lot of Zelly in some aspects, as she was also very, very independent, very headstrong, again, willing to do whatever she could to get what she wanted. And she reminded me a lot of Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, which I think is awesome because Aladdin happens to be one of my favorite Disney movies. And then we also have the last point of view that we follow in the story, and that was Anan, who is Amari's brother, the crown prince, who our characters are on the run from in this book. Anan I didn't like as much as I did Amani and Zelly. I find him very whiny at certain points, but at the same time, he had a very interesting character arc in this book. We don't often get character arcs from the perspective of the villain, and when that is mentioned in the synopsis of a book, I was like, yep, give me it now, because I love really reading from a villain's perspective. That is always what makes me enjoy a book, is a good villain story arc. And again, well, Anan was whiny at some points. I did really enjoy his character. Now we're going to move on to the romances, which is where my problem started. For the most part, I enjoyed the romances in some ways. I'm not going to go into specific details on who the 2 girl characters that we follow end up with until I discuss it in the live show. But I will say I liked who Amani ended up with much better than who Zelly ended up with. There was no love triangle. It might seem like there is a love triangle, but there is not. Zelly ended up with a character who I wasn't sure about on my thoughts on this character that she ended up with. I liked him, and I didn't like him. I didn't think he was the right fit for her. He was very overbearing, didn't really give her the independence she needed, in my personal opinion. just wasn't the right fit. And then we have Amani on the other hand, who I love the love interest she ended up with. I think they are perfect together. Amani's love interest is just very caring and protective in a way that was not overbearing of her. So that's great. And I just wanted to put this in here because this isn't a trigger warning or anything, but there is some sexual content or hints at sexual content in this book. So if you guys are on the younger end of YA, just be warned going into this book that that is in here. But it didn't bother me, and like I said, my feelings on the romances are mixed, but overall they have their ups and downs. Then going into the plot, this is where my feelings are very, very mixed. Overall, the storyline of this book isn't where I have problems. I think the storyline was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. It was gripping. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I never knew what was going to happen. Everything I love in a good fantasy novel. Where my problems really lie with the plot is within the world building as well as the pace. The world building in this book, for me at least, was practically non-existent. I wanted to know more about this world. I wanted to know where our characters were traveling to at points in this book that weren't well explained. I just needed more. The other problem I had with the plot of this book is I found it kind of repetitive. This book is 550 pages long. It did not need to be 550 pages long. It could have easily been cut down just 50 more pages or 75 more pages, and I would have enjoyed it thoroughly more. As the story was going on, I found myself like, didn't this already happen? Didn't the author mention that like 100 pages before? That is what I was feeling when reading this book. In some instances, it did work in a good way, but in some instances, it did not. So, those were really my problems with the book, was the world building and the repetitive nature of this book. And also, I did find it slow at times, especially within the last half of the book. It was kind of slow, but again, it kind of worked in a way, so yeah. And the last thing I want to mention in this review before I wrap it up is going to be the amount of diversity that is included in this book. We have a fantastic amount of diversity. The author is a Nigerian American author, and this book is Own Voices, which I think is fantastic. I've never read about the West African culture, so I got a lot out of this book learning about the culture and the mythology that is involved over there in Nigeria. I have read some reviews on Goodreads from other Own Voices reviewers that said the representation isn't as good as we who are not part of that culture have been led to believe. But coming from a person who is not part of the Nigerian culture, I think it was well represented. But I can see where those Own Voices reviewers are coming from. So overall, those are my thoughts on Children of Blood and Bone. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was very, very close to a 4-star rating for me. I went back and forth for a very long time deciding if I wanted to give this 4 stars or 3.5 stars. So I think it's well worth the hype, and I think you guys will really, really enjoy it if you decide to pick it up. My book club will also be having a live show on April 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel. So when that goes live, I will have it linked on the screen as well as down below. And that is all I have for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will have the link to Children of Blood and Bone linked down below for you guys if you guys are interested in checking it out, along with all my social media links. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you soon for another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!